Welcome to Please Me, the award-winning sexuality podcast bringing you bold conversations and big clit energy. I'm thrilled to announce that Please Me is the #1 ranked sexuality podcast in the USA and worldwide. I'm Eve, your host, on a journey from trauma to sexual liberation. Join me and my guests as we dive into conversations around orgasm equality, self-love, body positivity, and essential sex education. Let's reclaim pleasure and close the orgasm gap, one empowering conversation at a time. Today, I'm sharing an interview where I was a featured guest on the What's Your Brand Story podcast. I sat down with Dhylles Victoria to discuss why I created my show and what inspired me to take these conversations global. I'll be sharing more guest appearances between seasons, and Season 7 launches with new episodes in February 2026, so mark your calendars. We're also getting close to selecting the ARIA giveaway winner, making now the perfect time to join Patreon. Paid members receive ad-free access to full kink series, exclusive photo sets of every kink guest, and bonus content. As a thank you, I'm gifting ARIA Luxury Lubricant a $50 value to the 10th person who joins my paid Patreon for $10 a month. Full access, a chance to win, and community perks. Don't wait. Want to ask a question for the Please Me podcast? Join the conversation on Patreon or subscribe to my Substack newsletter for exclusive content, behind-the-scenes updates, and a chance to have your questions featured on the show. Please Me is for mature audiences, so sit back, relax, and surrender to the pleasure of Please Me.
Hey, beautiful people. Dhylles Victoria here. Hope all is well. Thank you for coming on to another episode of What's Your Brand Story. Podcast listeners, I have an amazing guest. She's going to be bringing the knowledge, dropping the gems, as I always say. If you're listening to this, I'm grateful for you. If you listen to this, I know that you're still alive, breathing, and I hope that you're having an amazing day. So, of course, you know my podcast is called What's Your Brand Story, and it's bringing on folks that are extraordinary human beings. They have servants' hearts. They are here to help humanity. And my guest, this goddess queen, Eve Hall, or Evelyn Hall, is no exception. And I just wanted to bring her on to share who she is and what she does so you can get an experience of what this amazing human being is doing in the world. So thank you, Eve, for joining me. I appreciate you.
Of course, I'm so excited to be here today and share my story with you.
Absolutely. So tell us who you are and exactly what it is that you do.
Sure. So my name is Eve Hall, and I am a licensed physical therapist. I have a practice called Inspire Health Physical Therapy and Wellness, and I am also a certified health coach. And I treat conditions of sexual health and the pelvic floor. And that is my specialty. I also do generic physical therapy as well. But, you know, my passion is really helping people with their sexual health needs. And in that vein, I started a podcast a little over a year ago called Please Me. And Please Me aims to destigmatize conversations about sex and sexual health. And I always like to say that there is absolutely no shame in having a sexual health condition. And the sooner you get it treated, the sooner you will be on your way to some sexy time. So just putting that out there.
That's awesome. I love it because I love a good time with some sexual health. Love some good times. Like sometimes, like my past partners would be like, "Damn, you have a high sex drive." It's like you could never get enough. I'm like, I'm just enjoying myself and being present in the moment. Like I don't understand what the problem is.
Exactly. And for me, the more you get, the more you want.
Yeah.
So yes, if you have an amazing, session, you're going to want and crave that again. So, I mean, and I think everyone should strive to have an amazing sex life. I mean, it is the way that adults play. So why not really put some focus into making it the best it can be?
Absolutely. And I think for me, coming from my history of child sexual abuse and trauma, for me to really own who I am as a woman and embrace my body and embrace my sexuality, like I've come a long way. So I'm glad that you are discussing this and talking about it, because I think a lot of women have the hardest time, especially if they were abused, sexually abused. Like it's hard for them to first embrace their body. Second of all, to have someone touch them and not go back into that space of the trigger of when the abuse happened. So thank you for what you do. I appreciate that so much, because I think a lot of women will benefit from what you do. And I guess, do you work with men too, or?
Yes, I treat Yes, I absolutely do. I treat erectile dysfunction as well. And
Mhm.
the pelvic floor can be weak in men as well. So strengthening that also. And I'm so excited that you brought that up because anytime somebody shares a detail like that about their life, I feel very like honored that you've shared that with me. And I too am a survivor of sexual abuse. As a child, from the time that I was 5 to the time that I was 11, I was sexually abused by 5 people. And,
Um,
at that time, you lose your ability to have control over your body, and you learn that you're not allowed to say no, and you learn that your body can be used by other people, and really taking that power back is such a journey. And so I'm so happy to hear that you have gone on that journey on your own and are sort of on the other side of that. And I too feel that I am on the other side of my healing journey. But as I go through life, as I talk to more people like you, as I get interviewed by people and also interview people for my show, I've found that there are still layers and layers that I am peeling away of healing. It
yes.
is such a journey. And it's such a beautiful thing, too, because, I'm learning along the way and really, making my life better. So, and then
Mhm.
I get to share that with other people. So it's a really exciting place to be. This summer, just about a month ago, I spoke at the National Sexual Assault Conference in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And the reason why that was extra special for me was because when I was in my 20s, going through like the nitty gritty of my healing journey and really like going through therapy and participating in groups and all of that, I went to that conference as a person trying to heal. And then to be able to come back to it 20 something years later as a speaker was an amazing thing for me.
Yeah, it's like it just came around full circle.
Full circle for me. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. I think for me, I don't even think I've touched the surface of what I can do sexually and what I can experience sexually. So I'm just excited to just like discover that part of myself because I'm a person that's always doing self inventory, introspection, how I can do better and be better and more improved. It's just a spiritual being having a human experience. So I'm always excited about that part of myself. So, but now I know what sets you apart from everyone else that does what you do in some aspect.
Yes, definitely not a common career, but one that I think is really rewarding. And, helping people is rewarding. Helping people rewarding, helping people in their sexual health is
Yes.
particularly rewarding, especially if they've lost function and then they get it back. That is just really exciting to see and to experience with them. Not
Awesome.
necessarily with them in the bedroom, but with them in terms of hearing their stories about how it's being, uh, transformed and helped.
So let me ask you a question on the topic. Do you help women who've been through like having hysterectomies and those who go through that like hormonal changes after having a hysterectomy? Because I know somebody, she had a full hysterectomy. I've had one too, but I had partial, and she
Okay.
had to go and do some like hormone repair treatment, something or the other. So
Yes.
she had to be medication.
Yes. So when you experience a full hysterectomy, they take, not just the uterus, but they take your ovaries as well. And so now your ovaries are no longer producing any hormones. So you do have to have some hormone replacement because it sends you directly into menopause. And that is really common for people who have had hysterectomies, also people that have undergone cancer treatments. Sometimes they're in their 20s and 30s and they're in menopause, and now they have to deal with all of the issues that come with menopause as well. So yes, I definitely work with clients with those diagnoses.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. So I'll definitely keep that in mind when I bump into a fellow sister that's going through that because I always wondered like how does that work? So got you. So anywho, can you tell us like what brought you on this journey of doing what you do?
Yes, I think it's been, I mentioned the sexual abuse. I feel like it's been sort of like a journey through healing.
Yeah.
And when I decided to start treating people, the pelvic floor and sexual health conditions, it was sort of like, is this something that I, really want to do? And I was going through my own sexual revolution.
Right.
And yeah, and so it just sort of went hand in hand with what I was going through. And I wanted to share what I was learning with other people. For instance, I didn't know at the, maybe 20 years ago or even 10 years ago that only 3 to 5% of women can orgasm from penetration alone. Most women, 95% of women, need clitoral stimulation in order to orgasm. And I didn't know that. I didn't know what the orgasm gap was. And so having learned all of these things, I really wanted to share that information with people so that they could too close their orgasm gap for themselves. Because I know I experienced it in my relationships in the past, and what the thought process was around that. And you can change that for yourself. You can experience pleasure.
That's awesome. I love that. I love the fact that you're so vulnerable and honest and transparent about that, because I think oftentimes when it comes to sex and like orgasms, I think a lot of women are afraid to touch themselves. A lot of women are afraid to look at themselves. A lot of women are afraid to go the distance of how far they can go, what they can discover. And also too, a lot of women really don't realize that they can, have an orgasm both clitorally and vaginally in that way. So I love the fact that you brought that up. I know my viewers are gonna be like, what's she saying now?
I love talking about orgasm, so ask away.
Yeah, I do too. I love me and my friends. We talk about stuff all the time, and they were like, "Do you squirt? Hell yeah, I squirt. How do you know how to do that?" I don't fucking know. I just remember one time I was masturbating, and just a whole flow of stuff came out, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess." That's
Yeah.
conversations we always have. So yeah. So what do you think definitely sets you apart from everyone else that does what you do?
Well, I think that there are a lot of pelvic floor therapists, and I won't say a lot because it is a small specialty. And I
Yeah.
know that some of the other clinics in the area have like 6-month waiting lists, so it is a very needed type of
Yeah.
therapy. Um, so what sets me apart is that I am more focused on sexual health than on the pelvic floor, and it all goes together. But I really focus on trying to help people with their sexual health. And of course, I'm going to see all clients. Incontinence is a very common condition that I
Mhm.
treat. Incontinence is not a sexy topic, right?
Mhm.
And many women experience incontinence, even people in their 20s, athletes in their 20s, female athletes. 40% of them experience incontinence when they're playing sports. So it's a very, very common condition that nobody wants to talk about, right? And so
Mhm.
I understand that even though someone may have incontinence, it does affect their sexual health. And so I'm also going to talk to them about their sexual health, not just treat the incontinence and be on your way, but how is this affecting your sexual health? How can you improve in that area? So I really like to focus on that. And that, I think that is what sets me apart.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like you give women the permission to just feel safe in a judgment-free zone where they could actually be their authentic selves to share with you, this is what I'm experiencing and this is what I'm struggling with and how can you help me? So it definitely releases that shame and the misconception about whatever it is they may be thinking in their minds, and allows them just to like breathe a little bit, to say like, okay, finally I have someone that truly understands what I'm experiencing, and I'm experiencing feeling heard and validated and understood and seen and things like that. And I'm quite sure like it helps them to be more empowered when it comes to who they are in the sexual level. So that's amazing. I love that. I really,
Thank
really
you.
do. Of course. So what is your definition of a brand story?
So that's an interesting question. I've been trying to develop my brand, and I think that it really did sort of take another turn when I started my podcast, right? Because then I was really focused specifically on, sexual health and on how I can be a conduit for people to open up the communication around sexual health and sexuality in general, and really just feel more comfortable with having these conversations. Many times I would have clients come to me and say, I'm here, to treat, for instance, my erectile dysfunction, but my wife doesn't know I'm here. And so I would become, their, quote unquote, dirty little secret, which was not okay with me, So I feel like, what my brand brings is, telling people or speaking about things that you wish you knew about, all of the things that your mother never taught you. That's the stuff that I like to talk about and I like to teach. So my brand is very centered around sexuality and sexual health.
I love that. I really love that, especially about what your mother never taught you, because there's times where I know I'm exploring myself on a sexual level, and my mom and I would have certain conversations. I'm like, Mom, have you been to a sex store before? She's like, ew, no. I'm like, why not? It's the greatest place on earth. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm crazy. And they'd be like, you know what? You were just like an odd child. I'm like, I'm not an odd child. I'm just very free spirited. I want to try so many different things because life is so short. So I love that. Completely love that. So is there like a testimonial or review that a client has given you that that really touched your heart space, that let you know what you're doing is your path?
Yes, actually, I just recently had an incredible testimonial from a client that I've been treating for erectile dysfunction. And it really, on so many levels described how I've helped him. It helped him with his confidence. It helped him in situations where he was new to, a new person or a new situation, and just feeling more confident in that area, and also function, suddenly he can keep it hard and, really go all, for hours. Whereas before he was really having, issues like premature ejaculation, which is, one of the symptoms of erectile dysfunction. And that's really embarrassing, for men. And for women, I was on another show, and the lady described erectile dysfunction as erectile disappointment,
Wow.
And you know what? I appreciated that so much, because I have to say that as women in heterosexual relationships, when our partner has erectile dysfunction, we're just expected to be, okay, and to, placate them. I'm sorry, that's okay, don't worry, it's fine, blah, 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 and try not to make them feel bad. But come on now, it is a disappointment. Why can't we be true to our feelings too? So
Absolutely.
I really appreciated that she said that. And I actually want to talk more about that, because, we women are always tamping down our feelings to not injure or hurt people around us. And do we really need to do that?
No, we don't.
Right. And I really think it's better to be authentic and say, hey, this is really disappointing. Why don't we look at some avenues to help fix the issue here, instead of just brushing it under the rug and not talking about it?
Right.
If you've ever wished sex could feel more connected, more intense, or honestly just more fun, you need to check out Shameless Care. They're a telemedicine company built entirely around sexual health. Real doctors, real prescriptions, and products that actually work. Like Shameless Chemistry, their oxytocin plus tadalafil blend that deepens connection and boosts arousal. Or Shamelessly Aroused, a topical cream with the active ingredient found in men's ED medication, increasing blood flow exactly where it counts. Every order includes a short video introduction from your doctor, transparent pricing, and no subscriptions ever. Just real, sex-positive healthcare that delivers results. Because you're a Please Me listener, you can use coupon code PLEASEME for $15 off your order of any product on the Shameless Care website. Use the code PLEASEME, that's PLEASEME, at checkout to claim your $15 off. Again, that's shamelesscare.com, code PLEASEME. Because great sex shouldn't be complicated. It should be shameless. This episode is sponsored by Shameless Care.
I'm a firm believer in a nice vibrator when I need to do what I need to do. If it ain't going right, if it don't feel right, I'm that girl. And even in like lesbian relationships, because I'm in a same-sex relationship, sometimes that takes place too, and that happens because your partner's stressed out or whatever the case may be, or we're not on the same page or whatever. I'm just like, so yeah, my vibrator's on the side, I'm good. And sometimes it just be like that, and I don't think that it's anything to be ashamed of, or you shouldn't deprive yourself, because if you're not done, you're not done.
Absolutely. And who says that just because the man climaxes or the female climaxes that it's over, right? It's not over until everybody's happy. And so I always say that, bringing toys into the bedroom can really be an adjunct to sexual health in general, because, not everybody can orgasm from, like I said, penetration. Also, not everybody can orgasm from touching, and everybody can orgasm from oral sex, right? So if you know that you can orgasm with your vibrator and you're not bringing that into the bedroom as a backup, you are missing out on a lot of fun.
Yep, I agree 100% with that. Yeah, this episode is gonna blow the hell up. I'm just saying. Anyway,
I love it.
So, can you tell everyone where to connect with you, follow you, find you, work with you, all the good stuff?
Absolutely. You can find me on pleaseme.online. And there you will find, under the Contact Me, a section where you can send me an email. And then you can also find all of my socials. And then you can just click on all of those there and follow me. And if you want to talk to me about sexual health coaching or even treatment, I am here to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your honesty and transparency and your realness. And it's just refreshing to have this type of conversation, because sometimes I think people are so afraid to have the conversation about sex. Like it's no longer taboo. People just be doing all types of shit now. So let's talk about it, because you never know what you like from what you don't like. And maybe you'll explore something about yourself. You just don't know. So
absolutely. Life is all about exploring, and, go for it.
That part. So thank you so much, podcast listeners, for joining me on another episode of What's Your Brand Story. We've had an amazing conversation. I hope that you took notes down. Like I always say, have your notebook and pen ready, because my guest be over here dropping some gems and a half. And these are things that you can implement in your life. You learn certain things. So till next time, Dhylles Victoria here. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
If you're feeling disconnected from your body, struggling with intimacy, or facing a sexual health condition, you're not alone. There is no shame in what you're experiencing, and you don't have to figure it out on your own. But the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to reclaim your confidence, pleasure, and connection. That's why I offer a free 15-minute discovery call to explore what's going on and whether working together is the right next step. Spots fill quickly, so don't wait. The link is in the show notes. Grab your time now.
Are you looking for a sexy date? Look no further than SDC.com. SDC.com is the premier ethically non-monogamous website that is worldwide. It also hosts a wealth of information on sexuality and sexual health, and I host a free live webinar monthly on the site. You can use code 37340 for a free trial membership on me, and be sure to reach out on the site and say hello.
I want to personally invite you to join me on Patreon for ad-free listening, bonus episodes, and early releases. Already there is a lot of bonus content on there, with many webinars that I've done in the past and a show that I've never released to the public before. My show is completely self-funded, and when you are able to support me in this way, I'm able to spread my message of body positivity, self-love, and women's empowerment, and empowerment in general around sexuality around the globe. And so with that being said, I appreciate everyone who has already joined Patreon. And if you've thought about joining, now's your nudge to do so. I thank you from the bottom of my heart.